The other day I popped into city center, and as I found out that I was having some 20 minutes to spare, I decided to go to the nearby library. It's a beautiful building full of books and lots of people, including kids, reading. And I didn't plan to buy or to borrow any book. I just started browsing and found that book, Silence in the Age of Noise, written by a Norwegian author and published in 2018. On the cover it says that these books take you on a journey to unlock the power of silence. And I decided to start reading at home. And one of the things he says, after exploring a number of countries, including Antarctica, said that Antarctica is the quietest place I've been. I walked alone to the South Pole, and in that whole vast monotonous landscape there is no human noise apart from the sounds I made. Alone on the ice, far into the great white nothingness, I could both hear and feel the silence. Everything seemed completely flat and white, mile after mile, all the way to the horizon, as I headed southward across the world's coldest continent. Then later he is mentioning his meeting with a snail, and said that as a child I was fascinated by the snail that was able to carry its own house wherever it went. And during my Antarctic expedition, my admiration for the snail increased. I pulled all the food, gear and fuel I needed for the entire trip on a sledge and never opened my mouth to speak. At home, there's always a car passing, a telephone ringing, pinging or buzzing, someone talking, whispering or yelling. There are so many noises that we barely hear them all. Here, it was different. Nature spoke to me in the guise of silence. The quieter I became, the more I heard. Each time I stopped for a break, if the wind was not blowing, I experienced a deafening silence. Where there's no wind, even the snow looks silent. I became more and more attentive to the world of which I was a part, neither bored nor interrupted. I was alone with my own thoughts and ideas. The future was no longer relevant. I paid no attention to the past. I was present in my own life. Later on in the book, he's mentioning how to get into silence. I find myself thinking about how silence can be experienced without the use of techniques. The threshold for finding silence and balance can in fact be lowered. You don't need a course in silence or relaxation to be able simply to pause. Silence can be anywhere, anytime. It's just in front of your nose. I create it for myself as I walk up the stairs, prepares food, and merely focus on my breathing. Sure, we are all part of the same continent, but the potential wealth of being an island for yourself is something you carry around with you all the time. Towards the end of the book, the author says, now and then, someone asked me what the most difficult thing about skiing through Antarctica was, and there is no doubt in my mind about the answer: my arrival at the South Pole, having to speak again. I've been wearing the same underwear for the previous 50 days and nights, and replied, now a pig in shit. It was more difficult to start talking again that it had been to get up early all those 50 mornings. Being on a journey is almost always very satisfying, more satisfying than reaching the goal. We prefer the hunt for the rabbit over its capture. And that's about it. Read that book. Discover silence. Silence is precious, is the dream of all hermits. People want to be just silent for once. And you know, in France, there are people now that go on weekend, dearly paid, just to be silent, leaving their computer, laptops, and telephones in a locker and say nothing. Nothing for a day, nothing for 2 days, 3 days. And then when you open your mouth again, you discover the weight and the wisdom of words. So happy silence.